ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Wild Rift North America Mobile Mayhem Tournament Season 1. I'm your caster, AssassinDave. With me, Mr. Tasty Bacon. How are you doing, Tasty?
Yeah, looking forward to game number 2. That last game was so close for so long. It was a very passive game for a long time until finally KND felt like they had the advantage, and they took that advantage fully and just ended the game so quickly.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens here in game number 2. You know, the Galio was a huge playmaker for them in game 1.
Osiris.
Now they cannot play it.
I learned his name, I'll never forget. All you need to do is tell me one time. Last game, that Galio pick support definitely surprised me with that performance. All in one Dragon teamfight with a 5-minute knockup. That changed everything. But without further ado, guys, the second game is underway. Is KND going to take a 2-0 sweep, or can Mayhem take us to game 3? We shall find out in the second game ban pick. Here we go.
And getting into this one early, Fiora actually getting banned away here. And I mean, it makes sense if you... This is one of those situations where I think it is purely a ban based on this all-around draft format of, all right, they picked Camille in game number 1. They want to be split pushing. Who's the other? They can't play Camille anymore. Who's the next best split pushing top laner? It's going to be that Camille. So, or excuse me, the Fiora. So banning away the Fiora, I actually really like that decision here from the side of Mayhem to try and, you know, maybe force their opponents into a completely different strategy, let alone just a different pick.
Yeah, and Tristana being taken out. First pick, what do you think about a Tristana first pick? I can't wrap my head around that. That one is kind of difficult for me.
Yeah, well, it kind of says to me that maybe their AD carry champion pool isn't too deep, and they're a little bit worried about, like, that's what it says to me, is because, like, if you only play Xayah and Tristana, and you played Xayah in game number 1, your opponents could just pick the Tristana away from you, and now you're just stuck without a champion you're comfortable with.
Well,
so
but
that's what it says to me, is that they really need to have this Tristana pick for them because they aren't comfortable with something like the Xayah or the Ezreal.
Mind you, Soldier Rain pulled a nasty Tristana. Remember the game he did yesterday? It was 13 or 14-0.
Was that Soldier Rain on that yesterday?
Yeah, that was Soldier Rain.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
So I mean, you're absolutely right. It's one of their comfort picks, but I understand it's a comfort pick. Is it the first pick prior though? Because you also have to consider your enemy teams, your like opposing team's champion pool. Do they even play Tristana? You know, because Tristana's not banned, and also there are multiple other ADCs, really good ADCs that's on the map. Kai'Sa, Israel. Israel was taken out. Xayah was available, so they could have taken that. What you don't really have to prioritize Tristana. I guess that's what confused me. Still, again, you gotta be careful with Soldier in Tristana. He did it incredible yesterday with that Triss. So today, we're gonna see a similar performance, because yesterday was a Tristana and Rakan. Today the Tristana was Alistar. I think it's a little bit similar, like with a Rakan and an Alistar, because they both offer the really powerful engage for Tristana to continue to land the bombs in the stack. So we shall see in this game. Let's take a look at KND's picks.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that could be a factor into the Tristana first pick is, you know, if they really want the Camille and the Ziggs, they know they don't need to pick those early because they were picked by KND in game number 1. So they got Camille in the second rotation. If they want the Ziggs, they could pick it up whenever in this draft. So that could be the other reason why they put the Tristana first, is because the other picks they wanted to put priority on aren't available to their opponents, so they don't have to worry about picking those early. You know, so there's a lot of different things that could be a factor into this Tristana first pick, but it is actually going to be the Fizz and Galio currently being covered. Galio obviously, you know, makes a lot of sense. Fizz we saw yesterday in the jungle, and it could go into the jungle again today, or it could end up in one of these solo lanes if the Camille decides to jungle instead. But I would expect, just based on what we've seen yesterday, that it's going to be Fizz in the jungle with the Camille in the Baron lane.
Yeah, because Fizz, again, with the recent changes, he can clear wave, he can clear jungle creeps really, really fast. And one of the things is, Fizz is actually not the strongest laner, so Fizz get bullied by a lot of people in lane. And now if you put Fizz against jungle creeps, all of a sudden, with the recent buff, he feel like a freaking gangster, you know, like, come at me, jungle creeps, right? That's all he says. So you just go ahead and clean all the jungles and be the king of the jungle and get himself to level 5, so he can safely pass through the early game and be effective in ganking. Also, even when Fizz turn level 5, he's strongest when he has a person with him early game. You know, because he might be missing a little bit of damage to the person not low enough to begin with. So this definitely helps him. Whoa! I mean, are we seeing a Rammus pick?
I love Rammus, actually. I think Rammus is one of my favorite champions in Wild Rift. He's a little bit tough to make work in competitive because there are a lot of ways to play around it, but this is a team that has a lot of the damage from the side of Mayhem is going to be physical damage. And if that is what a composition has, Rammus can just build nothing but armor and actually be a very effective, not just a tank, but a damage dealer himself if he's stacked up on that armor. So I actually really like the Rammus pick here. I think it has a lot of opportunity to make some strong plays, lock down the Camille or lock down the Tristana, make it so she can't jump away for that 2-3 seconds of the taunt duration. Yep. And all of a sudden Tristana becomes a much less powerful pick if she doesn't have that utility to be able to bounce out in and out of fights.
If you look at both team compositions, Tasty, I think this game is very even on the strategy. Both teams are going for the full dive composition. You got to Rammus the jungle, you're looking to commit. Same as Rakan, like you get those two together, you're looking to wombo combo the enemy team. Mind you have to be careful with how you place Gragas ultimate because he might be counterproductive. But for team Mayhem though, it's a similar way. They got Fizz, they got Galio, they got Alistair. If you're looking for a full dive comp, you shouldn't look for any further. This is it. This is it right here. So it's all about which team can commit better, and which team execute the comp. It's a full clash comp for both sides. So we're gonna have a lot of fun this game, to be honest.
Yeah, I think in terms of just the full-on team fights, I do favor KND's comp a little bit, but Mayhem has a lot more potential to pick opponents off one at a time. Yeah. And that's I think what's going to be crucial for Mayhem is if they can find opportunities to catch someone just slightly out of position and blow them up, as long as they don't try and do it on the Rammus or the Gragas, they're going to get a kill almost instantly with their comp.
This game, Mayhem's really putting everything on the table. You got Suki with Galio, you got Soldier Ray on a Tristana, so we got a lot of power picks that they're really comfortable with. Now, for Team KND, once again, this is my first time seeing their performance as a team, so I'm actually not so familiar with how they're going to perform. We are seeing great signs from last game, so can they pull the same dive comp like they did last game? Can they still have a clarity in their game plan, and can they execute on the game plan just as well as last game, which I'll find out. The second game is already underway, but ladies and gentlemen, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and turn the bell on to all notification bells. Make sure to hit the follow in all platforms, and join us on Trovo.live for being the sponsor and the platform that sponsors this tournament. Make sure to follow Mobile Mayhem as well, being the sole entity that actually make this thing happen, support North American competitive scene for League of Legends Wild Rift. Without further ado, let's quickly jump to Game 2 between KND and Mobile Mayhem.
We are getting on into game. It will be an Infernal Dragon to start things off in a few minutes time when that does spawn. So expect a lot of fighting to be going on around that one. I don't think we're going to see a turret trade for an Infernal Dragon here in this one. A Cloud Dragon, yeah, it's much more likely to see just a team say, all right, you guys can take that, we're going to go get a turret. But when it's an Infernal Dragon up for grabs right off the bat, there's going to be some battles going on for that one.
Yeah, and then again, we still have a Camille on the map, so we might see a little bit more early game split push focus from Camille. So for a team Mayhem, they might have a 4-on-5 of the first Infernal Dragon, or if Camille able to out-rotate her opponent, we might see a 5-on-5 or a 5-on-4 advantage, and the Camille rotate back. So there's a lot of things that might possibly happen. But again, if Mobile Mayhem does have the advantage, open up the silent map, it's going to be really good for them because they do have the Camille that continues to put the map pressure as we saw from last game.
A little bit of a difference in the jungle paths. Fizz took his blue buff and then cleared wolves before going to his red, whereas the Rammus cleared blue buff and went directly to the red buff. This is where the biggest opportunity for Mayhem early on in this game is going to be trying to take advantage of the fact that Rammus has a very slow clear speed. Yep. And he is one of the, I think, slowest clear speeds of anyone that is an actual jungler in the game. Yep. It is almost painfully slow when you're playing as a Rammus, but as long as you can get past that early stage, get some armor built up, get some defenses, you can be a very strong champion. Yeah,
Fizz are looking to gank mid, and look at Rammus just quietly farming the F4 camps. Now we're talking about how slow the Rammus can clear a jungle. it's actually like about 20-30 seconds slower to get to level 5 compared to any other jungler. And that's huge because, you know, you want to have the early game. If you can clear faster, you can get to level 3 faster, you can get level 4 faster, you can gank earlier. And if you can gank earlier, you can open up the map earlier if your team grants you the opportunity. So Ram was jungle clear, but you know what he lacks, he make up from ganking speed. Look at that rotation on top side.
There he comes. Knocks the Camille out of the wall jump, and there's going to be a good amount of damage going down onto Sirento. He's going to have to use that honey fruit to heal back up, and Rammus can just go and head right back into the jungle and finish clearing out his camps. Fizz has just hit level 5 and is going to be looking to make something happen here in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and he took a untraditional route, to be honest. He's camping at a really safe spot for the gank. Ooh, the ward being spotted here. So Fizz kind of have to stay in this bush, knowing that the lane is not really towards his favor. Nice root, nice poke on the other side though, from Nimble Wall Rift on his eye.
Yeah, I really like the way that KND has been playing here early on, just knowing that they have a slower clear jungler, knowing that they're not going to have these opportunities. They're playing very cautiously, except with the exception of the top lane, where they know that they have the they had that opportunity. But mid lane was actually, I was gonna say, was playing very safe, but Suki. This is the second time we've seen Suki get a solo kill to open up a game on Galio.
Yep, you know, when you were casting and doing production at the same time, you missed by a little bit and missed the action. So I apologize for that, but what a great play by Suki, once again securing the first blood. Yesterday, he picked this champion for the first time. He got a first blood, I believe. Today, the history repeat itself. So Suki, once again, stepped up the game.
Yeah, Galio, again, not a champion that's known for his early game strength. And Suki just says, yeah, well, I don't care what he's known for. I'm getting my first bloods. I'm getting my early solo kills.
Yeah, nonetheless, I don't care. Right? I'm good at it. Call me the Galio god. I was surprised that he didn't get a skin on it. Very disappointed.
The dragon has spawned.
Especially with some of the, I know at least Debonair Galio is pretty excellent, and the Infernal Galio looks pretty darn cool too. But either way, speaking of Infernal Dragon has just spawned, and right now it is Mayhem, as per usual, the first team onto the objective.
Yeah, you have the Skull Vision over here. Corki doesn't have the Vision, ultimate coming out.
Oh, he has to zip back, though, and get out of trouble. That's going to be the engage from the Rammus. Not going to be able to steal away the Dragon, but can they find the team fight? Xayah going to use that ultimate, but doesn't get a root with it. Woo! With the Feather Recall, and everyone from Mayhem gets out alive.
KND. I mean, Mayhem, KND wanted to contest. They wasn't sure about it. I think they kind of messed up the respawn timer, or not recall timer over there, because you have Corki. He has the first package at 4 minutes, but he didn't even recall for it. He was staying in the lane for a little bit too long, where they should have swapped somebody else to go to the mid lane, take that wave, or just kind of give it up, because it's really important for Corki to get that first package. If you secure that first package, it helps you a lot in the first dragon.
Oh, but bottom lane right now, there's a big engage going on. Soju Rain's going to heal up with the honey fruit and keep himself alive, so everyone will just be backing away. But it was a good hard engage from Osiris. Is going to be spotted. They know he's there. Just throw a little bit of a poke to get him to back away, and it will just be recalls coming through.
Whew. Again, pretty peaceful, but KND come off on, Mayhem this time come off on top with the first dragon. So they're really dedicated to taking us to game 3, making us work harder. I like that.
Enigma stuck around here to gather the solo experience of these minions as they crash into the turret. Yeah, topside, there's going to be 3 members collapsing onto the turret, taking it down. Sirento, he knew he was going to be in trouble, so he just backed off, didn't want to go down. And that's going to be first turret getting secured. But meanwhile, on the bottom side by the Dragon, nope, not going to be an engage there. Looked like Fizz was looking to go in, but everyone just backs off safely once more. Yeah,
the Rift Tower is available on the map, so that's the next major objective if your team chooses to take it. The first tower is already taken down. Rift Tower priority is never that high. It's probably one of the lowest prio objective on the map. Oh, speaking of the top side.
It's going to be Rammus flying on in, gets the taunt onto the Camille. Camille has to flash away, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, Fizz comes over the wall with the fish, gets the kill, and just like that, Mayhem turn it around, finding themselves 2 kills. They're going to immediately turn onto this Rift Herald. The rest of KND are here, but this is a 3-on-5. Yes, you have a couple of members already low, but I'm not sure you want this fight. Big knockup from Alistar, and that's going to be the fight engaged in KND, just using those numbers to their advantage. It is just Corky left here as the Rift Herald falls.
Team Mayhem. We see a very different Mayhem from last game. I mean, I think KND just played to their element last game, but this game, Mayhem really stepped up their game. They want to take us game 3. They don't want to lose this match right here against KND. Sure enough, they were again pulling a very characteristic move, on time, on objective, doing the right thing as 5 men together. And sure enough, they're able to win those team fights.
Not sure I agree with that Rift Herald drop there. It is not even going to get the actual charge. It did charge that first turret, but it was already gone, so it doesn't do any damage there. And so they basically get nothing off that Rift Herald drop. And it's always very strange to me when I see a team drop the Rift Herald when there isn't an objective to be going after. Like, usually you want to use it either as a distraction or if you're going to be using it to get a significant push, and there they just kind of wasted it. So not the greatest of decisions there on the Rift Herald drop, but it's not going to be something that costs them the game either.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, Rift Herald's priority, once you take down the first tower, the priority for Rift Herald just dropped tremendously. The value for Rift Herald just dropped tremendously. Because Rift Herald would have really offered you the first tower advantage if you're able to use that properly. But if the first tower is taken down, you really want to save that Rift Herald for the next Dragon Siege. You know, then you create a lot of map pressure that way. That was obviously not a example drop, but still, they got a tower, and then the objective is accomplished. So whatever it takes.
Yeah, I mean, they got the tower, but they didn't need the Rift Herald for it.
Yeah, they didn't need it.
They could have just gotten that tower on their own, but right now, Dragon spawns, and KND a little bit late on this rotation. Dragon's already about to fall. Woo! Dragon secured, and now Alistar misses the headbutt pulverize combo, but Fizz is going in onto the Corky. Galio with the grand entrance will only knock up Rammus. They're still trying to chase down onto the Xayah and Rakan. They finally take out Rakan. Tristana escapes with a sliver of health, but Xayah will not be so fortunate. And now here comes the Rammus.
Rammus
driving on in. He's going to get some taunts, going to get some knockups, but not going to be finding a kill. They finally get one, but it's only going to be the Tristana. They actually do get the, they got 2 kills off that, but Galio is just making them pay, finding another kill for himself, and this is going to be Mayhem walking away with another advantage.
Galio sitting at 3-0-5. We see some extended team fights back and forth. I mean, Suki just get those kills and fish. I think Kodo Yozora is able to land those ultimates where actually I don't think he missed a single ultimate. Speaking of that, he landed one more all on Gragas, secured one more kill. Despite the fact that it was a trade, it's pretty good. It does give Camille a little bit more advantage. Camille is sitting at 7,700 gold. With his Trinity Forest, going to go home with teleport. So the next team fight, Camille is going to continue to put the map pressure on the map.
Absolutely. The pressure is going to become more and more immense as the game goes on. And right now, Tristana, she's excels at taking down turrets. The 3/4 of the turret taken off in just about one go. And that's something that they're going to have to continuously contend with, is Alistar and Tristana pushing one lane, Camille pushing the other, and then you've got Galio and Fizz just roaming around, ready to make a play wherever they're needed.
We see a lot of synergy coming from the mid jungle combo from Mobile Mayhem. You do have Suki as well as Kodo Yozora. Kodo Yozora. Did I pronounce that name right? How would you pronounce the name?
Yeah, I'd say Kodo Yozora.
Kodo Yozora. The jungle and mid row synergy is pretty good. Every time Fizz went in, you have a Galio grand interest right on top of it to make sure that Fizz can do whatever he wants with that protection on top. So really good synergy from Mobile Mayhem mid and jungler. I hope they continue to do this towards the enemy team. We'll talk about, it's all about who engage better. So far, I haven't seen the best of the Rammus engage, to be honest. And I look forward to seeing more of that come from Sparkle in this game.
Yeah, really, the Rammus has to kind of get the engage off with the Rakan at the same time, because Rammus, he can really only engage on one person. He can go in, he gets the knock up, and then the taunt on one target. You really need the Rakan and the Gragas to be able to add that extra crowd control on top of it. Otherwise, yeah, Rammus is going to go in, but if he goes in too far ahead of the rest of the team, there's nothing he's going to be able to do. So you actually almost want Rammus to be like a secondary engage, to be joining a fight in progress.
Yeah, absolutely. This way you can zone a lot better and do a lot more, be a lot more impactful, to be honest. Because Rammus, if you engage, his ultimate and his skill 1 allows him to jump really, really far away. So in fact, you shouldn't be using Ramos. Like, you're absolutely right. Secondary engage with Ramos, I think, is a lot more beneficial just engaging at first. But right now, we just need to see more coordinated engage, actually, from Team KND if they still want to have a chance in this game with 5,000 gold behind.
Yeah, the gold lead is continuing to mount. Next dragon is going to be up in a little over 30 seconds. It will be the third dragon of the game. And obviously, you know, it's not like PC League. It's not like you have, oh, they're stacking up their dragons and getting ready for that dragon soul. But if you let a team get all of the initial dragons, if they do manage to get the Elder, it's just going to be that much more powerful. So you do still want to prevent your opponents from getting all of the prior dragons before the Elder is available. Not to mention just the extra stats. You know, you never want to give your opponents extra stats, make them stronger in these fights. But that's been what's been happening thus far, and might be getting another fight here soon as the Drake has spawned.
A dragon in the pocket. Oh, here it comes!
Oh, Rakan goes in. He's not going to be able to get a lot of knockouts. He's just going to instantly die. No one else from the team was ready to fight. Rammus is getting chased out, and now they're going to turn their attention back to the dragon, as that was just a very, very poorly timed engage for the side of KND.
Yeah, seemed a little bit disengaged. Osiris went in all by himself, and he had to jump back, but Alistar with the entire team, Kodo your Zora, and then his entire team just dive onto the Xayah, who got deleted. I think in less than a second. He didn't even get a chance to use the ultimate or any of that.
Yeah, that was a very quick double kill there for the side of Mayhem. And again, just it was Rakan went in, and I was like, where's the rest of the team? There's no follow-up on it, and they just immediately drop. I'm actually surprised they didn't go for Baron right off the back of that as well. It would have been very difficult for KND to try and contest that with only 3 members, but it is still a continuously growing lead for Mayhem, now up to about 8,000 gold in their favor.
Yeah, Ramos is definitely not working out for KND so far. I mean, so far we haven't seen many coordinated engages from Rakan and Ramos. We talk about both teams are engage heavy or team fight heavy, but so far it's just been like Team Mobile Mayhem taking their team comp to their extreme. But they know they are really good at team fight, so they've been taking the terrestrial control and be on time, be at the right place at the right time every single time, controlling the map, and taking the extra tower, having 3 dragons. Right now, it's just continues solidifying their control of this map. At this point, if they engage and find the right engage, keep on doing what they did before, they're gonna have those easy wins in this game, to be honest.
Baron was started up. They do disengage though. They weren't quite confident enough in their fight, so they had pretty dominant vision control. But now it's going to be KND able to get a few wards in the pit. They don't clear out any vision just yet, but they do at least get some control of their own. And now it's just going to be Mayhem backing off, retreating, getting some items purchased, and getting ready for the next fight. Yeah,
very disciplined play from Mayhem, to be honest. Now, Fizz used the ultimate on Corki. They know they didn't have that tool available, and the team wasn't in a position to follow up to the ultimate, so they just retreated. You know, I think that's really, really disciplined. It's really nice just for us to see coming from a team so early in the competitive scene for North America Wild Rift. This is going to be a star to watch out for, continuing on for North America competitive scene.
Absolutely, and right now Mayhem clearing out vision once again in the Baron pit, getting complete control of this side of the map, making it very difficult for KND to walk in. There is still a package available in the base for Corki, so could potentially look to recall to go grab that. It's going to be so important for the next fight to be able to have that extra, the extra utility that the package provides. But thus far, it doesn't look like Tri-Feed has any interest in going back to get that.
Yep. I mean, he's just split pushing. Like I said, Tri-Feed was not on point with how he picked out his package this game. Oh, top side.
Fizz gonna try and get the jump onto the Corki, but Corki is able to Valkyrie away and get himself out to safety. Will be recalling now. I assume is going to be grabbing that package and getting ready for the next fight, because not only is Baron obviously still a threat at all times, but the Elder Dragon is going to be spawning in about 45 seconds. Yeah, you look at a mid-lane gold difference. Galio has 12,000 gold, and Corki only have 10,000 gold. There's a whole item difference. This Galio is sitting at 3 full items,
and Corki's sitting at 2 items right now. So they're just gonna let this Baron go.
Yeah, it's almost a 2,000 gold lead across the board for each individual player. And the Baron completely taken for free. No contest, no, they had no vision. They didn't have any way of knowing that this was going on. They just reset to be ready for the Elder fight. But now, Mayhem, they get a free Baron, and they get to reset for the Elder fight as well, as they're going to be making their way on in. That's a good first shot onto Osiris. Not quite going to be getting the slow from the Camille. Meanwhile, on the top side, it's going to be Galio and Gragas just walking with each other down towards this fight. But KND, they've completely backed off, and Mayhem are just starting up the Dragon.
Look at that. Here it comes. They have to contest this.
Engage. Rammus has to go in, but they're being stuck in a fight behind everything.
Wait.
Rammus just gets to steal the Dragon for free, but Mayhem say, we don't care about the Elder Dragon. We're just going to get the kills and end the game.
That's exactly what they did. Rammus wanted to steal the Dragon, but Mayhem had the other plan in mind. They're going for the kills. Their coordinated objectives is used to bait out enemy teams. That's exactly what it did. And give you Elder, who cares? I'm going to take the game.
What a smart heads-up play from Mayhem. Just opening the door and letting Rammus go completely past their entire team while they just dive onto the team fight. Absolutely incredibly smart play from the side of Mayhem to just, like you said, bait that out. Force their opponents to they had to contest. They couldn't just let the Elder go. But the threat of the Elder was so tempting that they went for the steal and instead just lost the fight because they didn't have a jungler with them whatsoever. Really, really well played by Mayhem here down the stretch in order to finish this game off.
At the same time, I think Mayhem was just way too far ahead. That giving the Baron away was not a strategic. I mean, I don't think it worked out for the team at all. Because if you think about it, like for Team KND, if they lose the Baron, it's only 20 seconds to the Elder. I mean, they're just gonna have a bigger disadvantage at Elder. That's exactly what happened. Rammus gave up his team to steal the Baron, but his team just got swamped, you know, in a matter of seconds. As everybody just disappeared, vanished, evaporated. So once again, a big congrats to Mayhem for taking us to Game 3. So it was 1-1 on the board. Whew, what a game.
And this is where the next draft is going to get very interesting, as now, once again, both teams going to have 10 champions that they cannot pick just right off the bat, and actually 12, you know, once the 2 bans come in. So going to be these champion pools going to get tested, the compositions going to be tested. We'll see who can come out on top for game number 3.
But before that, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn the bell on, hit the follow button, share the stream with your friends. We're gonna go ahead and take a short break and set up. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you guys in a minute.